Jason Fladlin here, and in today's edition we're going to talk about a rhetorical device or a common language tactic that's used mostly to incite outrageousness or righteous indignation and to hijack critical thinking. It's either used to appeal to a base of people to rally them up to do what you want them to do, or to make the other side look worse than it is if you are doing an us versus them type of attack, or if you're positioning somebody else or some other ideology or concept to be worse off than you. Now, this is unfortunate because this tactic, this language communication device, can be incredibly powerful if used in certain situations or for certain outcomes, though it's very rarely used this way. It's mostly used as a weapon, and even the word weapon is an exact example of what I'm talking about here. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about loaded language. It's one of the many labels of linguistics that they call it. They can call it emotive language or emotionally charged language. But whatever you want to call it, I like to think of it as loaded language. It's words or phrases that are designed to elicit strong emotional responses. And some of the ones that are most common that have entered our vernacular, especially at least in the United States, come from politicians because they are the best at it. And by the way, it crosses the aisle. It doesn't matter Republican, Democrat, the most right or the most left, whatever the case may be, they are master at loaded language. So if you ever want to study loaded language, you can get a free education just by opening up the newspaper. So let me give you some ideas of what loaded language is. The word terrorist is a very loaded word. Whether it's accurate or not, sometimes and oftentimes the way the word is used is to create that emotional response. Same thing with torture or freedom or fascism or socialism. And in certain circles, the word capitalism is a loaded word. So some of this is contextual. Now, my favorite example in terms of technique, forget about outcome or what it did or didn't accomplish, put ideology aside for a second and put on the learning hat, right? The death tax is probably the greatest example. And the gentleman, the strategist, the political strategist that came up with it, his name escapes me right now, wrote a book on this concept using this language. And what they did is they repositioned the estate tax, which was like a coin flip. It could be voted for or against, increasing it or doing something with it. And when they branded it as the death tax, that loaded language freaks people out. And so people that normally that were for the estate tax became very much against the death tax, even changing something like Affordable Care Act to Obamacare. Is a way to load that, because to certain groups of people that word represents, or that name represents, a very loaded emotional knee-jerk reaction. Patriot Act is a fantastic example of who's against patriotism. Patriotism evokes a very strong positive emotion. A lot of loaded language will evoke negative emotions in the sense of things like the war on drugs is a fantastic loaded phrase, as if we're actually fighting a war with drugs. And they got their artillery and they're shooting at us and we're ducking and covering and coming back at them, kind of stuff. Most of this is negative, loaded language, but there's some positive. Like the Patriot Act was a very loaded term that evokes a certain emotional response that doesn't necessarily help with discourse about the pros and cons of such an act. Fake news is probably the most popular one right now. It's a very loaded concept in terms of it evokes a certain emotional response. To categorically call something fake news is going to incite certain groups. It's going to rally other groups. And even certain things on how we try to empower ourselves to use a lot of language, because there's positive ways you can use it. I'm going to explore a couple with you actually in this video here, but a very positive or attempt at positive that I don't think ends up working is the battle against cancer or the fight against cancer, or I'm going to beat cancer, as if it's hand-to-hand combat. There are, you got to ask yourself, with anything in life I've discovered is, does this empower me or does this limit me? It helps me move out of this modality of this, does this hurt or does this harm me? Is this good or is this bad? Is this evil or is this whatever, right? It's a less judgmental, easier to assess and empower. Like, does this empower me or not? So God forbid I ever get cancer or somebody that I love gets cancer, I would literally consider the language that we use around that, because it's going to affect how we feel. If you're fighting something there's this implication that it's going to be a bloodbath. People are going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. But if you're coming up with a plan to be as healthy as you possibly can, regardless of whether you have cancer or not, it probably would elicit a different response, probably a more thoughtful and a more empowering response, at least for me, than fighting or battling or war. And you're going to discover a lot of loaded language comes along military terms. Okay? Now, here's a fun exercise. I don't know if fun is the word for you, but it's fun for me because it helps increase my learning. Helps me understand what is loaded language, what are options if I were to need to use loaded language, and how can I become more resistant to loaded language that's designed to manipulate me, or at least understand what it is, so I don't have it just take over my emotions, so I can still keep kind of some sort of balance in my life. I opened up some of the most common news sources, their websites, and I did it across all political spectrums. So it's not that one does it and the other doesn't do it. Everybody does it. And really it's symptomatic of a greater thing is if your goal as the press is to sell clicks, which is the goal of every single press that exists out there, that's their business model, then they employ these techniques to maximize their profits. It's as simple as that, because that's how powerful and persuasive loaded language can be. So let me just share with you. And it's funny because I saw these same words repeated across all spectrums and all across all of the most popular press that exists out there, regardless of political leanings. Here are some words that I found. And this took me less than 15 minutes. Criminal. And not in the sense like what a criminal is. A criminal used to describe a situation that's probably not a criminal situation. Loser, literally calling somebody a loser, which evokes a certain emotional response immediately. Lashes out. What's the difference between lashing out at something and just being upset at something? One creates emotional response more than another. A meltdown. Meltdown is rarely a case where something actually is melted down, but it creates a very interesting picture immediately. When you hear a meltdown, you probably think temper tantrum, which is kind of a loaded term. Bashes, cajoled, fires back, dirty little secret, ravages, attacks, pleads, please, or even undercuts in certain contexts is emotionally charged. Left hanging. This person was left hanging. Evokes a very dark imagery if you think about it in terms of hanging and where that originally comes from. Or even words like harassed. There are certain times where that word makes sense, but other times where it's an emotionally charged word used in a different context. Blast, firepower, rachets, collapses, soars, fights and battles. I say all that over and over again. Doomed. Doomed is a really powerful, emotionally charged. And it doesn't have to be a word. It can be a phrase like teetering on the edge. On the brink of destruction, or on the brink of whatever, right? These are all concepts that they make for interesting headlines. They definitely draw attention. They will get opens. They will get clicks. They can help you be persuaded or persuasive, I should say. But oftentimes they are not actually accurate of the situation. They create emotional responses to the situation, but they are not necessarily the most accurate way to look at a situation and assess it and say, okay, now that I understand this information, how do I proceed with it? Or now that I've experienced this, what's the best way for me to proceed, right? So loaded language. Now, here's why it's important that you know this, because it's everywhere. It's the invisible thing that's simultaneously everywhere you look. And when you become more conscious of it, then you can be more likely to use it or have it used upon you when it can help you, and less likely to be manipulated with it when you don't realize how you're being manipulated, where you might make decisions that you otherwise wouldn't make if loaded language wasn't surrounded by that. So actually, a very positive manner in which I like to use loaded language is, and you gotta practice this and get good at this, is if it is persuasive, and it can be emotionally charged, it's a simple question. What do I need to persuade myself to do that I want to do? And what's an emotion that if I charged it would make me feel good and empower me to do that? So that is a fantastic way in which to use loaded language in your own personal life to help you when you're looking at a situation that you want to like go in on, but you're having trouble even getting started with. The other way that you want to be aware of loaded language is when you see it, observe it and say, if I had to replace this with a less loaded word, what would that word be? And would that be as accurate, if not more accurate, than the loaded word itself? So that's really helpful. And the more you do that, the better you're going to discover that you're able to see situations and not just be at the mercy of being outraged, because oftentimes loaded language is going to draw up these emotions that don't make us feel good if we keep accessing them over and over again. So you could say, oh, you got me, but now let me look a little further. Was that a full-on meltdown or was that just a disagreement? I don't know. And lastly, there's going to be times when you're going to have to be persuasive, where there's a lot on the line. And so to have this in your toolkit that you can reach into and say, to the degree that I feel comfortable, that I feel ethical with using this loaded language, it is a rhetorical device. It's a tool that I can employ and use if I have to win over someone or some ones to my position because there's so much riding on the line. It's also important to know that if you're in a situation like in a marketplace, I always look at it this way, like what are my competitors doing? And how am I going to position myself against my competitors so I can stand out, I can get attention, that I'm not allowing other people to position me into a corner that I shouldn't be in or to downplay what I do to try to upplay what they do, right? What are the weapons, there's your loaded word for you, that they're using in their communication? And do I have to neutralize them? Do I have to counteract them? Or can I take them, finesse them, apply them at a higher level so that way I look better in front of my customers than they do? So that's a very specific example of how you can use this. But regardless, if you do nothing else, here's what I would love for you to do in this video when it's over with, is go out there, pull up news sites, pull up ones you love, pull up ones you hate, and just look at the words in the headlines and try to write down what are the emotionally loaded words. This will bring consciousness, and now that'll allow you to access more powerful, persuasive words when you need to in your next form of communication, but also make you aware of when others are using it to you, and you can see, is it in my best interest to buy into this loaded language, or should I use this, filter it, and then help me understand what's really going on and not be at the mercy so much of having others come by and tweak your emotions and put you in states that you necessarily don't want to be in. So there you go. Loaded language. Have off with it. Leave a comment if you've noticed loaded language in your life that has been really empowering, or loaded language that once you removed it, that was better off for you. Drop me a comment there, like and subscribe, and I'll talk with you soon.